Oh dear.
You ain't so tough with that bad boy tuck. I'ma get it how I'm living, I'ma walk the walk. Outline my lines, I rap through thought.
Hey guys, what's happening? Welcome back to Football Therapy with me, your host Jan, and to Chelsea news. Yes, back at the desk today, as I will be later after Chelsea's result against Newcastle. Fingers crossed, you might already know the result of the game watching back this video, because hopefully this video will have some shelf life. Well, we'll see what happens, what Pochettino does next. But in today's Chelsea news video, I want to cite a guy from Twitter at @LouClass_ talking about Chelsea's potential shirt sponsors moving forward, which of course is massive news. Chelsea wanting to qualify for a European competition, but if they don't, this could have major ramifications on their potential in terms of sponsorship. So I'll be really interested. I'm going to actually share screen that with you guys and take you through it. But before we do that, I do want to speak about Pochettino and his latest comments. I see it's caused a bit of a storm on the social media. People are upset with the Chelsea manager yet again. I'm going to be very mindful as I navigate it, because I think there is truth to what he's saying, and I kind of understand why he's saying it as well, but I totally understand why Chelsea fans are fuming as well. So it'll be really interesting to get into this together with you, my friend. Thanks for joining me. Thank you to all of you who choose to subscribe to Football Therapy and join the community. It's a wonderful community. I'd like to say a sensible one as well, but a footballing intelligent community that we have cultivated over the last 4 or 5 years, however long I've been doing this. 5+, a long time. So thank you for liking and subscribing, and yeah, let's get into it today. So yes, I'm going to cite an article from The Standard, not from Nazar Kinsella, from Dom Smith, speaking about defiant Mauricio Pochettino delivers a Jose Mourinho verdict in vow over Chelsea future. The Blues fans, of course, called for former managers during last weekend's draw with Brentford. Not just the draw with Brentford. I've said it before here on the channel, the Jose Mourinho chant. I said it when I guested recently on the London is Blue podcast. I think if you took everyone who sang that song, I think the majority of the people, when you sit down and have a conversation with them, will be like, obviously we don't want Jose Mourinho to come back with this investment, this setup, these players, what we've done. Of course that's not going to work, but we're not really singing Jose Mourinho. And I don't want to put words into people's mouth. This is just what I speculate. We're singing it as an act of defiance against the underachievement, because Mourinho at Chelsea, which is a long time ago now, lest we forget, represents success, personality, and culture. Of course, Mourinho, I think he's possibly the greatest manager of all time for what he's in a certain ways. I think Pep is as well, but I think in terms of box office achievements with the underdogs, I think Mourinho in history, he didn't build a team like Guardiola's built, but in terms of what he's achieved, it's just sensational. Mourinho, but he's not that guy anymore. I'd love if you said to me, Jan, who would you want to have dinner with, Mourinho or Guardiola? I'd say Mourinho 1,000 times over, like literally not even close. But if you said, Jan, who do you want to manage Chelsea? I'd say Guardiola. Bye, Mourinho. See you later, mate. It's not even close, bro. But what I'm saying is, I think it's like an act of defiance, a sort of signifier of we're not happy, and this is what we used to have Mourinho winning, retaining Premier League titles back in the mid-noughties or whatever. That's what I think. Again, it's not for me to put my words into people's mouths. I know some people genuinely want Mourinho back, but I think they're friggin' mental. So anyway, I just wanted to preface it with that. It's not just the Brentford game, it's other games as well that Chelsea fans have rightly expressed their displeasure on what's happening on the pitch. A defiant Mauricio Pochettino said he would, quote, never quit Chelsea, and believes fans would have any more love for any new manager than they have for him. Pause. Bold words, bro. Look, I understand you're in a difficult position. It's a difficult job, but okay, let's read it and we'll talk about it. So some Chelsea fans booed Pochettino and of course chanted for the club to sack him and even replace him with ex-boss Jose Mourinho when Chelsea were trailing. Of course, they eventually drew at Brentford on Saturday. Pochettino's under pressure for immediate results, of course, this evening's game against Newcastle with Chelsea 11th in the Premier League. 11th! Just pierce through all the narrative, the mitigating circumstances, the everything. Middle of March, 11th, or we might not be 11th by the middle of March, but in March, 11th, bottom half of the table in March, comfortably into March as well. Not that matters, we should never be 11th. Sickening. The 52-year-old was keen to remind reporters that the Chelsea squad that he has inherited is a different proposition than teams that won major silverware in the past 21 years, including the, last couple of Champions Leagues. And he's right, bro. We've never done this before. So he is right. Chelsea have never ripped everything up and started a long-term plan that will have the harder parts right at the very beginning, which is where we're at, and understand, more than we should have to endure the harder parts, but it was always going to be the front-loaded pain, if that makes sense. This plan is front-loaded pain, and we've never done that before. So, look, man, I wouldn't cry over Pochettino if we sacked him today. I don't necessarily think it's the right thing to do, but I want to I'm not in love with this guy, and I'd be really sad if he goes. I'd be intrigued to see what happens next. But if you said to me, do you want to sack him now? I'd probably say, I don't care. Don't think it's going to make a difference. If it's financially going to make a difference, wait till the summer. If it will make my club financially safer, look in the summer. And by then we might have won the FA Cup and we're playing well, and give him another season, whatever. But do you know what I mean? I'm kind of on the fence / apathetic, but just to give you an idea, if we sacked him, I wouldn't be like, it's a disgrace, I love him. Do you know what I mean? I really feel like it's important that I say that. So he goes on to say, Poch, he says this: today is a different project. It's a different Chelsea. If you're going to judge us analysing the situation and comparing it with the past Chelsea, for sure, no one is going to succeed. I do get what he's saying. The fans are not going to love any other coach than me. It's a new project, and people need to understand. Pumping the brakes a little bit here. I understand what he's saying. Look, this is an impossible situation. The injuries, the youth, the time, and there's no culture or belief, and we've got to instill that. Largely his job, by the way, and he'd probably argue it's going to take a long time for him to do that. But to say, and yes, let's be grown-ups, let's be big boys and big girls. He's speaking in his second language, and he's trying to assert a message. But the headline is, you'd never love anyone like you're going to love me, or you're never going to love anyone more than me. And that, of course, even though I kind of understand what he's trying to say, he's strategically not gone over to the Chelsea fans. I think he was saying that he wants to earn the right to go and celebrate with them, and he's not doing like a Maurizio Sarri, just didn't give a crap. You know what I mean? He's just doing his job, and I kind of respect that in his own way. He wasn't about because Sarri followed Conte, wasn't he? So that was kind of like this in some way, like this sort of philosophical manager coming in after a chest beating with a Tuchel, the big banner, and Conte was jumping in with the crowd. So it's kind of like a strong contrast. But I think he was smart not to go and try and celebrate with the fans, especially with the Tottenham affiliations and all this kind of stuff. But look, man, you could have done loads of. I don't know what could he have done. I don't know, man. But look, to say you wouldn't love anyone more is a poor choice of words. And again, maybe second language, but Frank Lampard could come in and lose every game, and the fans would love him more because it's Frank Lampard. Do you know what I mean? You could get John Terry in, and the fans would always love him more. He could lose every single game. So I understand the message he's trying to say. Maybe it's a little bit lost in translation here, but that is pretty wild, and I understand why Chelsea fans are going a bit nuts. Yes, so he says, no one's going to love anyone more than me. It's a new project, and people need to understand. Asked whether he would ever consider quitting as a manager, a frustrated Pochettino replied, no. Why? Never. Pochettino was also quizzed as whether he thought Mourinho, who was sacked by Roma in July, By the way, ladies and gentlemen, those advocates of Mourinho, look how well Roma have done since he's gone. And look, he did a great job at Roma. Mourinho, I feel like what's happening now is a follow-up of his body of work, let's be fair. He was like selling out the Olimpico, the Roma, the Mourinho effect. He won them a European trophy, their first ever. He got them into another European final. Excellent work, because you have to look what before Mourinho and post Mourinho. But in terms of where they were, and what Daniele De Rossi's doing, much better. So yes, of course, he was sacked in January. Pochettino was asked, does he think Jose Mourinho could do a better job than what he's doing? And man, fair play to that freaking journalist, though. I'm guessing this was off, not a televised one, and it was embargoed or whatever, but you gotta have some stones to say stuff. I mean, you shouldn't have to, it's good journalism, but I just like the question. So Pochettino said this in response: I respect Jose, he's my friend, and he was amazing for this club. Circumstances are circumstances. We need to keep pushing, believing in us, and accept all the things that come from the fans, of course. I respect the fans. Yeah, very fine. So this is what I found the most interesting part. You need to ask the players. If the players believe that with another coach, they will do better, I am the first to say, hey, they can go and talk with the owner and the sporting director. I think he's saying, look, as soon as the players have a concern with me as a manager, sort of then it's time maybe for me to go. So that's kind of like a little bit big boy business from Poch there. I kind of do respect that line. But do you see me worried about this? No. Look, is it an attitude problem? No. The players are clever enough. You can see in the way they behave and everything that they do, they are behind us. There is no doubt. Yeah, I think the players are playing for Poch. I came here because I knew it was going to be tough, but I also knew we were going to need time and belief. Well, we're 11th in the Premier League in March, mate. I don't want to keep saying that. I know it's like not very Jan to be that reductive, but at some point, and I know there's these like metrics, like tables where Chelsea are 5th and Chelsea's specially made up system. Oh, that's good. Can we be 5th in the Premier League? Because that might get a Champions League spot. And yes, it's so tough because I, as a content creator, want to be measured, analytical, philosophical, and recognize the stuff that I've been calling out for long before the ownership change. Sporting directors, infrastructure, incentive-based wage packets. I wanted all of this. I was on my knees for it, and hey, we've got it. But it's come with a price. As Florence and the Machine once sung, "This is a gift. It comes with the price. And it's hard to believe something." Yeah. Anyway, I'll work on that. Point being, it stinks at the moment. And despite it being a front-loaded pain project, they couldn't have imagined would be this bad. And it affects our financial situation. And of course, Infinite Athlete ends in a matter of weeks now. So who's going to be our shirt sponsor? Let's take a look. So, Lucas, excuse the pronunciation, Bashchek, well-followed Twitter account that seems to know his onions when it comes to sponsorship deals. So, of course, he's got some images here of the Chelsea shirt and potential sponsors moving forwards. Here, at Lou_class_ writes, the club are in talks with Riyadh Air, but the likely lack of qualification for European Cups, especially the UCL, we ain't making UCL, bro, makes negotiations difficult. In addition, negotiations with the Saudi carrier, the club are in talks with Bank of America, oh, that sounds fun, and Malaysia Airlines. It really is like Clay-like capital, like, yeehaw, Bank of America. But, this was always going to happen, I suppose. The group companies Chelsea talking to also includes an Asian company from the financial and insurance industry. Interesting. The expected 60. So we got 60 million pound a year deal with 3. I think it was, which was a little bit of an increase from Yokohama Tires, which was previous, which was good, 60 million. But Chelsea believe, the new owners of Chelsea believe, we're still massively undervaluing our potential revenue. So, of course, the deal will be subject to the new fair market value rules set by the EPL. This current deal with Infinite Athlete, valued at £43 million a year, has been slightly cut by EPL authorities. This is really important, because this is like the Man City thing of Man City funneling in their own money for a sponsor that's worth 2 million, but then paying themselves 60 million, going, this is how much it's worth. So this like fair market value rule is the Premier League regulator saying, you know, which is good, by the way. No, this is nonsense. That's not worth that. You have to get paid only this, you know, because otherwise something fishy's going on. You can't have a just like, you know, friggin' a random small company paying you 100 million a year. Oh, look, they're somehow related to you back in the network of, you know, the spider webs of corporate stuff. You see what I'm saying? So yeah, it's very interesting that the Bank of America is a long-time corporate partner of the LA Dodgers, MLB. So that's, I know you might be thinking, yeah, but that's a good thing. Our owners' affiliations with their current big sports team can find a way to actually help Chelsea in this scenario. You know, Bank of America might not be the sexiest thing to have on the front of your shirt, but if it's a way of sponsoring Chelsea and helping us do better due to our owners' links, that's a good thing, I guess. Bank of America advised the club's owners on borrowing options. The Malaysian carrier cooperated with Liverpool as part of the global partnership between 2016 and 19. Of course, Omar Air. What happened to them? This is interesting. So, the agreement with Omar Air as the club's official airline and global partner was prematurely terminated last month. So, the decision was taken by the new management of Oman Air, I wonder if they're allowed to do that. Maybe because it was so early, there's like a termination clause. I'll speculate that. Talks with Riyadh Air and Malaysia Airlines had no influence on the Oman carrier's decision. So that was probably more of just new management coming into Oman Air saying, actually, we don't want to do this. Let's just cancel it before, again, like maybe a threshold is met and we have to stay with them. And of course, negotiations with the Jordan brand suspended until the end of the season. Jordan probably thinking, screw this. I don't know. To be honest, man, Chelsea have massively undervalued themselves as a marketing or revenue generating asset for their entire, the last 20 years under Roman Abramovich, because Abramovich was just funneling money and didn't really care that he was losing money. And although there was financial fair play, it wasn't the same as the profit and sustainability rules we are living in today. In fact, Roman Abramovich will probably be in big trouble currently operating in the PSR rules. So you need to find better business ways to generate revenue. That's what Clear Lake Capital, Todd Bowley, Hans-Jörg Wyss, the whole the Blue Co consortium identified at Chelsea. Wow, Chelsea's a great big club, brand. They can make way more money than they're making at the moment. So let's sort that out. Kind of makes sense and is smart. And we'll see what happens. Certainly very interesting to see where we are with negotiations at the moment. But you know, I've under good authority as well. There are lots of potential negotiations at Chelsea. So let me know what you think, guys. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for liking and subscribing, supporting the content as always. If this is the kind of content you like or might know other people that like, then please do share it as well. Yes, that's it from me. See you very soon back here for the match review. Peace.